Okay, then let us start today's class if nobody have any question. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, I welcome you for this course of Gita Gyan, Essence of Bhagavad Gita by ISKCON Seshadripuram, Bangalore. So, again, I have put this slide. Who wants to read it? This is the importance of reading the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Who wants to give it a try? Aparna Mataji, Nitya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. You want to read it, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Essence of Bhagavad Gita. Devagi Nandanaha Krishno Gita Patena Tushyati Yatana Vedair Danena Yajna Tirtha Vratadibihi. The son of Devaki, the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, cannot be satisfied by anyone's study of the Vedas, charity, sacrifice, pilgrimage, or vows, as much as he is satisfied by the devotional recitation of the Gita. Vaishnava Tantriya Sara 22. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Nitya Mataji. That's the reason I was requesting all the devotees, at least they should recite the shlokas or even read the translation of any of the chapters of any shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Because Krishna here is saying, who is Krishna? The son of Devaki, the supreme personality of God is Sri Krishna. He cannot be satisfied anyone if somebody is reading the Vedas or if he is doing charity, sacrifice, pilgrimage or vows. Yes, Krishna is satisfied if you do any of these activities. But if you are reading Bhagavad Gita, how you need to recite this Bhagavad Gita? By devotionally, by faith. Then Krishna is much more satisfied. So that's from Vaishnava Tantra. So that's the reason we should recite Bhagavad Gita in whatever may, because you'll be getting lot of pious things and then you'll be able to understand the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. We'll move on with the prayers. I'll request everyone, maybe you can unmute yourself and just try to recite after one line once I repeat it. So because it's a saying, when we start with the prayers, we invoke the mercy of Lord Krishna such that we are able to understand the message of Bhagavad Gita. So I'll start. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnana Jana Shalakaya Chakshu Militam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Nama
Chakshurum militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namah.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini.
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine
Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Jaya
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vinda
Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Rama.
Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Padayani Gauri Katha Dhama Dayana Grama Tarini Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Padayani Gauri Katha Dhama Dayana Grama Tarini Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Naitya Yat Kripata Ham Vande Sri Gurum Devatarnam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Aishwaram. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. Thanks for reciting the prayers. We'll move ahead. So this program is dedicated to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So lot of time in our life, we might have met with somebody who becomes a part of our life. So like that, Srila Prabhupada in at the age of 70 years, he have traveled 14 countries and he have built more than 108 temples, and only twice he have met his spiritual guru, his holiness Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. So when he met his guru, he instructed him. Only twice he have met. Srila Prabhupada have met only twice with his guru, and his guru instructed him. There are more than 70 plus Bengalis books are there, which we needs to be translated in different languages, because when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, there were a lot of devotees were there who have written those scriptures on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and like that Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam was there, and he said you should be translated in different languages such that other devotees who are there in different parts of the countries they are able to read. So we can see 15 years from now, here we are reading this Bhagavad Gita. So Srila Prabhupada is such an inspiration. Because of him only we are able to read. So that's the reason the whole program is dedicated to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And also we were very inspired by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, who is the GBC and governing commission member and spiritual master. So he inspired us to take this Bhagavad Gita classes online. So that's why we are here also. So we'll take his blessing and we'll start with today class. So who wants to read this shloka? Okay. So before we start the class today, I guess Dhamati Mataji birthday is there, so I'll request all devotees they can unmute themselves and we can chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Dhamati Mataji so that she can progress spiritually in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Hare
Rama
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Happy Krishna consciousness birthday Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Coming back to class, who wants to read it? This shloka? Komal Mataji, you want to read it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Mataji, please go ahead.
ये श्रवन्ति पठन्ति एव गीता शास्त्रम् अहर्निशम् न ते वै मनुषा ज्ञेय देवरूपा न संशय. One who day and night hears and recites the Gita is never to be taken as a mere human being. Without a doubt, he is a veritable God.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji, for reading. So here is a saying, so day and night, so means din and rat. So whoever are studying this Gita, we shouldn't be understanding is a normal person. We shouldn't be understanding it's a normal human being. Without a doubt, Krishna here is saying is he is a veritable God. So that means he's a godly person like a demigod. And this is the, if you see, all of you are elevated soul, so that's why we are joining here for hearing of this Bhagavad Gita classes. So today we are going to hear the most confidential information which Krishna is about to give. So if you see chapter 9th and chapter 10th, we have seen this bhakti yoga is like innermost part of the, it's kept in this middle of the Bhagavad Gita. So as like vara pav or sandwich, the inner part is the tastiest thing, and if you go inside more, so sometimes say somebody like cheese, so in the stuffing the cheese will be there. So Krishna is saying this chapter 9th and 10 is the most important thing, and the most is this chapter 9th especially because Krishna here talks about the most confidential knowledge. So that's the reason Krishna, this chapter 9 is named as the most confidential knowledge. So in the 8th chapter yesterday we heard how to attain supreme, how we can attain to Krishna. Here we'll be understanding the most confidential knowledge which Krishna himself will be telling about. Usually if you see, so yeah, 7 and chapter 7 and 8 is chapters 2 to 6 is Krishna talks about Sankhya Yoga. He says, okay, you are not this body, you are actually but a soul. So he gives a little bit of bhakti in their chapter 2. And then when we come to chapter 7 and 8, he give a little more confidential knowledge. So what was there? Chapter 2 to 6 it was confidential knowledge was there. Chapter 7 to 8 it is little more confidential knowledge as it deals with devotional service. So chapter 7 to 12 is known as bhakti, devotional service. So chapter 9 is most confidential knowledge as it deals with unalloyed devotional service, kevala bhakti. So Krishna will be talking only here how you can reach to me by unalloyed devotional service, kevalam bhakti. We'll be jumping towards the chapter. So who wants to read this chapter 9.1? Okay, I'll request devotees they can raise their hand virtually. Yes, Dhamati Mataji, your birthday is there, so you should start this chapter.
Prabhuji, can I start?
Yeah, Mataji, please go ahead.
Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, shloka 1. Shri Bhagavan idam tu te guhyatamam प्रवक्ष्यामि अनसूयवे ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितं यज्ञत्वमोक्षेषु बहत्. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart you to the most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of a material existence.
Thank you, Mataji, for reading
Hare
out.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So here, Krishna is saying, my dear Arjuna, because I remember in one of the third chapter or fourth chapter, one devotee asked, why Lord Krishna chose Arjuna only? So I was telling, so in the letter section, I give that answer also. But here, Krishna is speaking specifically. We should understand the important character of Arjuna also first. So here is saying, in the shloka is saying anasyasya. So that means non-enviousness. So Krishna is saying this two important thing. uh, is there, one should be having anasesa. So that means non-envious. So you are never envious to me. So you are non-envious to me. So Krishna is telling to Arjuna that you are always non-envious to me. And the second thing is Shraddha, faith. When we have faith, then only we'll be able to believe in the scripture. So this is the qualification to receive the knowledge, the jnanam of pure bhakti. Krishna is telling. He's saying you are never envious to me. And then Krishna further is saying there are, say, in this battlefield of Kurukshetra, there were 4 millions of people, around 39 lakh of people were there. And those very, very great souls were there who was present in this battle. But Lord Krishna chose only Arjuna because he has a quality which was, he was never envious to Krishna, and not to only Krishna, and to other living entities also. And then further, Krishna says, this realization, knowing this realization, you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. So, what Krishna is saying here is there, you shall be relieved of the miseries of this materialism. So, yesterday we have discussed what are the miseries of this. It's Janma, Mrityu, Chara, Vyadis. So, Krishna imparts this confidential knowledge and realization only to Arjuna. So, as a devotee, how we should understand at this level, if we theoretically only accept Lord Krishna as the supreme personality of the Godhead, then only we'll be getting that mercy of Krishna and we'll be able to understand this Bhagavad Gita also. Let's see what Krishna further is saying. Okay, who wants to read it? Yeah, Hema Mataji have raised hand. Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Bhagavad
Krishna.
Gita 9.2. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyaksha Avyagavam Dharma. Just a minute, Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perfection of the self by realization. It is the perfection of realization. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed.
Thank you, Mataji, for reading it out so nicely. So this is one of the best verses, since this is top confidential knowledge which Krishna is telling to us. That's why he's saying these are the 8 pure bhaktis which Krishna is giving here. So Krishna is saying this knowledge or the gyan is the king of all education. Because and we see the normal education which we are going through is like depending on the countries to countries it will be varying. So it is 10 plus 2, and then graduation, and then graduation also it differs whether it's sometimes 3 years, sometimes 4 years, or sometimes it might be 5 years. And then after graduation you can go for your master degrees, and then double master degrees, or the highest will be PhD. So once you have done this PhD, but whatever knowledge is when your mind is bewildered or any problems comes in your life, you're not able to tackle. So saying because of the normal research that doesn't teaches about this Krishna consciousness, how to tackle the problems of the life. So that's the reason Krishna here is saying this knowledge is the most secret of all secrets. And further is saying Krishna is saying it is the purest knowledge. Why Krishna is saying purest knowledge? Is saying this knowledge gives you the direct perception of what, of self-realization. So we should understand what does this perception means. So just taking an example, if I ask you or suppose my stomach is right now full, I have eaten too much, and if I ask you, is my stomach full, will you be able to tell me? Because I only know that I am full or not. So that's why this is the perception which is gives. And what is that the perception gives about is the about self realization. Who are we? So we ourselves will be able to know. So this Atma Gyan, so it's someone that we are not this body, we are actually this soul are there. And then Krishna is saying this knowledge is the perfect of all religions. So Krishna is saying we as a person have created this religion, but Krishna is saying whatever religion you are this, so this is the perfect knowledge according to all this religion. And Krishna further is saying this is everlasting. It's not like this is for now and after sometimes it will be finishing. So we have seen how the history of Bhagavad Gita was there. It has coming from so many years and still it is continuing. And then Krishna, it is saying it is joyfully performed. So this is then we see these devotees, how wonderfully they are chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and doing kirtan and enjoying every, I mean, so doing in the streets and doing the kirtan and involving others people also. So how many you have joined Sankirtan anytime in your life?
Gyauranga
I,
Prabhuji.
Yeah, I see a lot of
Yes,
people.
I joined.
yeah, I joined Nagar Sankirtan.
Yeah, thank you. So how means have you felt after joining Sankirtan?
Yeah, it's nice experience.
Prabhuji, it was very peaceful.
It was amazing, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what we see. That's the reason. Sometime when we go to temple also, or when we join the Sankirtan. So what happens when we go to temple and watch the deities of the Lord, and when we involve in the kirtan or when we hear the katha, what happens? Whatever problems of our life are there, we actually forgot. It's like the problems are waiting at the door of the temple. Once we go inside, we are so peaceful. We'll be in the so much of peaceful will there. Again, once we step out of the temple, again will the problems are coming. So that's right. So you might have everyone be say, so at least for 10 to 20 minutes, you might have be feeling very happy, very peaceful, as everything said, like it was a great experience. So that's what Krishna is saying also. When we do, it's like it's everlasting, and this is joyfully it should be performed. It's like perform. It's not like that uh, you will be written kirtanam is the many of them you're doing kirtan, you will be totally into it, you will be transcendence all this misery, you'll be feeling only, you will be blissful, you'll be happy, and you can feel the, it's just like you have to in order to taste, those devotees who haven't tasted, I'll request in order to feel this experience, until unless you eat this pudding, the cake, you won't be able to experience this one. So not everyone understand this confidential knowledge, so it is very joyful. So this Bhagavad Gita, this knowledge which Krishna is telling to Arjuna, is basically five jnana. It's given, it's in the topic of five things is there. The knowledge of Ishvara, the knowledge of Jiva, the knowledge of Prakriti, and the knowledge of Kala, time, and the knowledge of karma. So we say, so even when Yaksha came, he asked Yudhishthir Maharaj. When there's a long story only. So when his brothers were all died because of drinking the water there. So the more he asked this Yaksha asked Yudhishthir Maharaj. So what is the most interesting thing, the most wonderful thing which you have seen in this world? So Yudhishthir Maharaj asked, the most interesting question is, which is the most wonderful thing? Like he says, and the answer he says, everyone in this universe is dying, but everyone thinks we have a lot of time. So what is the king of education? Yudhishthir Maharaj answers this, the king of education is to know about the supreme personality of Godhead. So once we understand the Lord, the knowledge of God, the knowledge of soul, then we'll be able to transcend this knowledge. So we'll proceed further. Let's see what Lord tells. Who wants to read this shloka 9.4? Okay, Ramesh Prabhu have raised her hand. Yes, Ramesh Prabhu, please go ahead.
Okay. Maya tatam idam sarvaim jagat ayakta murtinam matsthani sarvabhutani nakhaham tesa avastiha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Thank you,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu, for reading it out. So Krishna here is saying Krishna is in everything. So Lord Krishna, name, fame, pastimes, etc. Actually, it cannot be understood by our material senses. Only it's been understood by who is engaged in pure devotional service under the proper guidance of the spiritual master. And then Krishna reveals himself in the Brahma Samhita also. It says Premanjana Achurite Bhakti Vilochena Sanatana Sadaiva Hrideshu Viloktayanti. So Krishna says one can see supreme personality of Godhead, Govinda, always within himself and outside himself within all the living entities. If one has actually developed this transcendental loving attitude towards Krishna, then only we'll be able to see. So that's for people when we in general we say he's not visible. Actually here it is said that although he is all pervading, everywhere he's present, but he is not conceivable by our material senses. So all the manifestation whatever we see, everything whatever it exists actually in this material world or spiritual world, are all resting on the energy of the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. So there is a story also, maybe during this Kartik month, this wonderful pastimes is there when Yashoda Ma asked Krishna to open his mouth because Lord Balaram and all his friends say Krishna is eating mud. So when Krishna opened his mouth, so Mother Yashoda was quite amazed. Like she was able to see the entire Brahmanda, entire universe, everything, whatever is there in his whole mouth. And when Krishna and she was able to see even the Brindavan was there, Gokul was there, and she was also able to see herself that she is looking in the mouth of Krishna. So that's a wonderful, just a quick summary I gave. That's a long pastime of this one. And she was amazed, and she like got down there, and she was then Krishna by his Maya energy again let him forget. It says that because she will be in awe and reverence, then she won't be loving him as a mother and a son. So that's what is there. So Krishna is saying, I am the entire universe is spread, but all beings are in me, but I am not in them. Let's see what further Krishna is saying in 9.7. Okay, who wants to read it? Bindu Lekha Mataji, Chandrakant Prabhu, you want to read it? Okay, Yashika Mataji have raised hand. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतं यान्ति मामिकं कल्पाक्षया पुनस्तनि kalpadau visarjame aham. O son of Kunti, at the end of millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for reading. So here, Krishna is talking about periodic creation and destruction of this material world. So Krishna here is saying, at the end of the millennium, all this manifestation enters into my nature. At the beginning of another millennium, my potency, I create them. So just if you zoom it, and if you see this creation, this maintenance and annihilation of this, just mute. Okay, I muted. Yeah. So we are talking about this universe. Yeah. So this, if you see, this entire cosmic manifestation is being coming from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And yesterday we saw how 14 planets are being created. So the 14 planets are being floating here, and everything is unlimited Brahmanda. If you see here, unlimited Brahmanda are floating here. So Krishna is saying this creation and maintenance and annihilation of this material cosmic manifestations are completely actually dependent on the supreme will of the personality of Godhead. And Krishna is saying at the end of the millennium means at the end of the millennium for this one Brahmanda. That means at the death of Lord Brahma. So Brahma ji lives for 100 years as we live for 100 years. So like that Brahma ji also lives for 100 years. And his one day is calculated. You know what is his one day? So his one day is calculated as 432 million of our earthly years. And his this is like 12 hours, only 12 hours. So his night is also of the same duration, and his month consists of hours only like 30 days, 30 such days. And his years also consist of 12 months. So after 100 such years, when Brahma ji dies, yesterday we see all the 14 planets are Brahmana Bhumana Loka. So from Brahma ji to the lower planets, everyone goes through these four kinds of misery, which is known as Janma, Mityu, Charavyadi. So Krishna here it is saying, when Brahmaji dies, the devastation and annihilation takes place simultaneously. So this means the energy which is manifested from Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is again wound up to him himself only. Then again, when there is a need for manifestation of this cosmic world, again it is then. So he's saying Bahu Swayam. In this like Srimad Bhagavata, it is saying, Krishna saying, although I am one, I shall become many. So from his energy only everything is emanated. This is, and in he expand himself in this material energy, and the whole cosmic manifestation again takes place. So there is a whole canto is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. If you get a chance, if you don't have, you can buy also. If you read canto 5, in the whole it's there. Canto 5, it's been yes, Dhamati Mataji is showing Canto 5. So in the Canto 5, it's not Mataji, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, you're showing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam is there. So if you read those Canto 5, this talks about completely how this material formation has been there. It talks are detailed. So coming back to here, maybe if time permits, again we can discuss more on those is there. So Krishna is saying, by my energy only, at the end of millennium, all this manifestation into my nature. So if you see, Karana Daksha Vishnu is there, as this tiny pores are there in our hairs are there. So in that one pores, one Brahmana comes out. So when Krishna inhales and exhales, one Brahmana is created and one Brahmana is devastated. So like, that's how it's there. It's so quick according to his time. And this is Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and from his navel, Lord Brahma is born, and like that's how he creates this whole material world. And like this 100 years, this again one Brahmanda goes away inside again. Yeah, that's what Krishna is saying. And let's see what further Krishna says in 9.8. Who wants to read it? Bindulekha Mataji, is it possible to unmute yourself? Read it.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Prakritim savam avastabhya visjami puna puna bhuda gramam imam krishnam avasami prakritir vasat. The whole cosmic order is under me, under my will. It is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will it is annihilated at the end. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for reading out. So here Krishna is talking about according to my will. So he's saying the whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifestation again and again. Under my will, it is annihilated at the end. So you see here, this is Karana Dakshaya Vishnu, or the Mahavishnu says at the creation, this material energy, it's let loose to Mahatattva, into which the Lord as his first Purusha incarnation is known as Mahavishnu. So everything is it's inter. So he generally lies within this causal ocean, which is known as ocean is there. It's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. And when he breathes out, so innumerable universes are being created, and into each universes. So when he breathes and inhales, so into each universes in this previous sloka, sorry, we have seen Garbhodakshay Vishnu is formed. So when Garbhodakshay Vishnu is formed in that each Brahmanda or in the universe, so from and then he lies in that ocean, and the Lord again enters as a Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and each universe in that fate has been created. So still further, when the Lord Brahma created all the jivas, so Shirodakshay Vishnu enters into every jiva, and in their heart he stays there. So in all our heart, Shirodakshay Vishnu is present as the Paramatma, and he observes all our activities. So this fact is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. So he enters into everything. So the living entities are concerned, they are actually part of this material nature. And as a result of their past deeds, they take into different position. Thus the activities of this material world again begin. So whether it is men, animal, beast, birds, everything is simultaneously created, because whatever desires the living entity had at the time of death or at the time of the last annihilation are again manifested. It is mentioned here. So if you see the word here also is there, avasasam. So avasasam means that the living entities have nothing to do with this process. Actually the state of being, whatever it was there in this past whatever life it was created, simply it's manifesting again and again. And this is all done by simply by his will. So we'll see what further Lord is. So this 2-3 shlokas talks about how this material world was created, and we'll see what Krishna further is giving knowledge to Arjuna. Okay, let me see who haven't read till now in any classes.
Yes, Prabhuji, can I?
Okay, Mataji. Yes, you can read, Usha Mataji.
Avajananti Mamuda, Manusyan Tanum Ashrita, Param Bhavam Ajananto, Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. Fools desire me, we I descend in human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji, for reading. So here Krishna is saying, Avajananti mam murha. Srila Prabhupada used to say, Mura means fool, idiots. So we are here, we are seeing some examples are also there. So saying the fool, the murk people who deride me. So deriding means sometimes we make upahas, or like we make a joke on them. So those foolish kind of person who make like derides Krishna when Krishna comes down on this material planet. So Krishna here it is saying, so when just I'll mute everyone. Yeah. So Krishna is saying when he comes down, so people feel, oh, he's a normal person only, and then people make a joke out of it. And this example are like Duryodhana, Sakuni, and there is a wonderful story of this. So here in this screen, if you can see, so Krishna is saying, when I descend down on this material platform, on this earthly planet, they don't know my transcendental nature of my God, because Krishna is the supreme personality of it. They don't know, and they think this is just a normal person, and then they joke and then make a joke mockery of it. So there is a example is also given when Krishna is given. So one of the best example is like Shishupala. So this is a cousin of Krishna is there. He was always envious of Krishna. So when Krishna and Balram went to see him, when Krishna like Shishupala was born, so he had a bodily deformity. So he was born as a forehand, like a deformity was there. So it was when her mother, his mother name was Shrutu Sabha. Yeah, Shruti Sabha, his mother was there. When she told, when somebody comes and his automatically this hand will disappear. So by him, he will be killed. So when Krishna and Balram, when he went there, what happened? Automatically those extra hands went away from Shishupala. And then her mother, her nephew, is requested, your his nephew, please don't kill him. And then Krishna says, okay, since you are saying, I will excuse 100 of his mistakes. And then as Shishupala grows up, he used to say to Krishna, you have done this. He used to always blaspheme him, this Krishna. And then every time he used to find mistakes in Krishna, and then he used to say, you are like that, you're like that. So even we see when he came in the human form also, Shishupala was not able to understand this is the supreme personality Godhead. And then because of enviousness, Shishupala, when he went to Rajashu Yagya also, in that Sabha Prabha where Mahabharata was then, so when Yudhishthir Maharaj was performing this Rajashu Yagna, so every, all the senior person was there. Vyasdeva was there, Bhishma Deva, Drona, Kripachar, Narad Muni, all senior peoples was there. And there in this, all respective people were there in the assembly. And Yudhishthir Maharaj went to Bhishma Dev and asked, who is the most respectable person I must worship? Before it's a saying, because any Rajashu Yagna is then the most respectable person should be worshipped. So Bhishma Dev said, there is no doubt Krishna is the most respectful person. Please worship him only. And if it was wrong, so Vyasdev and Narad Muni would have stopped Bhishma Dev also. No, no, this is wrong. You can worship somebody else. So Yudhishthir Maharaj goes and worship Lord Krishna. So Shishupala, who is the cousin of the Krishna, and Pandavas also, he started saying, no, 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 he's a king, he's a Vaishya. There are senior Panchal Naresh also, Drupada, he shouts at Bhishma, Krishna. And then we see he started blaspheming, and Krishna was counting 195, 96, 97, 98. And then as soon as his 100 count was over, and as soon as Shishupala just blasphemed one of his devotee, Krishna just took his Sudarshan chakra and in front of everyone he killed. So Krishna never tolerates if you scold any of his devotees, also if you blaspheme any of his devotee. And that's how it was killed. And you can see the example of Duryodhana also. Duryodhana also didn't knew that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He tries to tie up Krishna, when Krishna went for okay, this like youth shouldn't be happening in the Mahabharata. It's mentioned that he tried to kill, and then Krishna showed him this so it's mentioned there. It's in all Bhagavatam. There is a wonderful story. Is there this story also we can see how Krishna when he came there, he fighted all those things, and then he killed Kamsas also. So
Kamsa.
Kamsa, yeah. So this Putna story is there. I'll cover in the maybe next slide. There is one next slide is there. So maybe I'll cover this story about this one. So a lot of my personal example is also there when we go and distribute this Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam in the market, usually in this month. And then somebody will say, this kind of is a Murha example is there. They will be coming and they say, what are you doing? Kam dhanda nahi hai tumhe kya? You're coming here and distributing books. Kitna kama lete ho? Sometimes they will come and then they will say. So these people doesn't understand what is the importance of this transcendental knowledge. This Bhagavad Gita is there. So like that, is there. So we'll discuss is there. So let's see what Krishna is there in this chapter is saying. So we should understand who is God actually. So in Vishnu Puran also, Parshuram Muni mentioned it there. Parshuram Muni is that Vyasa Deva father. So he mentions there in this one, the definition of Bhagwan it's given. So Bhagwan it's mentioned there, one who possesses all the opulences in this full. So sometimes in this world, if somebody comes and say, I am a God, ask them, are you having this 6 characteristics or 6 opulences in you? Then only exchanges. So Bhagwan means, Bhaga means opulences, and one means who possesses this. So one who possesses this 6 opulences in full is known as Bhagavan. So Parshuram Muni was there. So these are the 6 opulences are mentioned in the Shastras are there. We should ask those person, okay, are you coming from Shastras, where it is mentioned there in the scriptures? So we'll discuss more about the 6. It's very important to understand the qualities or the opulences which Krishna possesses, and then only it's mentioned in the system it will be there. So first we'll discuss is about beauty. So in that beauty, or in Hindi we call Saundarya, it's a very beautiful person. So since human beings, whether it's or animal beings, or whether we are living in for like nature or something is there. So beauty, something if you see, it's like Krishna is so attractive or so beautiful. If I zoom it here, we'll be able to see. And sometimes people derides and say, okay, such a nature, such a beautiful nature is there, such a beautiful flower is there. And they said, okay, so think who have created such a beautiful environment, such a beautiful tree, such a beautiful flower. So Krishna, who have created the entire material world and spiritual world, so how beautiful it will be there. So Krishna has the entire beautiful. So yeah, in that previous shlokas also it's mentioned there. I'll tell about Putna stories also. When Putna, when Lord Krishna was a child, what happened? Putna took this. He was sent by Kamsa to kill Lord Krishna, and she killed all the children because she was not knowing. And when he reached to Lord Krishna, she took a form of a Devi, like Saundari, and then all this Gokulvasi, they were mesmerized. Oh, Lord, when some goddess, demigods have come to bless Krishna, and then. And he went and he took Krishna in her lap, and then she thought, because in her we know all the stories, and she like in her breast she kept the poison, and she thought when Krishna will be taking this milk, he will die like that. And while she was feeding Krishna in her lap, and then she was mesmerized by his beauty, and she was saying, wow, such a nice boy. And he was saying and she desired, like, I should have a son like him actually. And that's what it is. There's a long pastime about Putna also. In her previous birth, she had those things. So maybe I'll tell this story in another time. And when Krishna, while he was drinking the milk, and while he was drinking, and then Putna fainted, and she died. And in her, she was given, and because she thought, like, she's such a wonderful, and because she gave this milk to Krishna, so that's what she was giving a motherly position in Goloka Vrindavan, and she was being there as a dhatri. So that's the beauty of Krishna, is that everyone is mesmerized. And if you see, when this battlefield of Kurukshetra was happening, can somebody say what was the age of Krishna?
125 years.
Yes, Mataji, wonderful. Kamal Mataji. So 125 was the age of Krishna was there. So you have not seen any form of Krishna where he's been old, or where he's been other demigods. If you see, it might be old. Krishna, you might have not seen everywhere where it is gold. So it is saying in all ages, Krishna is very, very beautiful and very attractive. So, one time in Gokul, this gopis were scolding Lord Brahma, and this gopis are scolding and said, Lord Brahma, you have one defect. And then Lord Brahma said, what is the defect in me? I have created all the living beings. And you are saying, he said, then they talk about her eyelids. See, these eyelids will be just be flipping in within a fraction of second. And when the gopis used to look to Krishna, and then this eyelid used to flick, and they said, "This is a defect you have made." So it's been flipping, and then we are not able to see Krishna. They were such in on awe of reverence. This gopas and gopis, they always wanted to see Krishna. So that's the beauty. That's what is there. So it's that's the reason it's known as Madana Mohana. So he's like always attractive. He's a whenever he used to come from evening, like all dust will be there. Even he was Sham Sundar form, blackish in color, but still he will be so much attractive. So in this Mangal Arti we sing Kandar Pakoti Kamanam Vishashya Sovan. So it's saying he's so beautiful that his beauty actually surpasses that of millions of cupids also. So that's what's so beautiful. So if somebody is beautiful, because since we are part and parcel of Krishna, so that's why we get, but it's not in full. And the second we'll see is about strength. So Krishna, if you see, from his very childhood, when Putna came to kill him, he killed. And in the 3 months, 1 month, Krishna have done so many pastimes. Have killed lot of demons. So you see, there is a wonderful pastime is there when Krishna lifted this Govardhana Parvat, and Govardhana Parvat, when he left it, Krishna, see, he left it with his left. So when sometimes we go to a person and ask, can you do this work, and he or she will say, no, this is like my left hand work, I can do with my left hand only, because right hand usually people will be having lot of power. So Krishna just lifted this Govardhana Parvat on his left hand and hold this for left hand, not and very effortlessly he pulled, and then he hold it for 7 days and 7 nights. If time permits, maybe some other days I'll be telling you the full complete story. So we can understand, we can't even hold a glass of water. If you go to any time Vrindavan also, this now, I mean, it's saying this Govardhan Parvat is reducing. So now if you take a complete parikrama, it will take around 25 kilometers or something. So we can understand this whole Parvat Krishna lifted up. And we can understand, if you take a phone also and we stand like this also for 4 hour 5 hour, if you, or nothing, just raise your hand only and just lift it like that for 1 hour, you will feel like, oh, my hand is paining. So that's the strength which Krishna possesses. In very small wood only he used to kill. And we'll talk about his third opulences, which is known as fame. Fame means, yes, he's all famous in everywhere. So if you go to this picture is about a Mayapur. So Mayapur, if you go, it's in the West Bengal. So you can see peoples from different, it is more than 90 nations comes here, sorry, and glorifies Krishna. So maybe some personality might be famous in India, not in other countries, but Krishna was famous all over the world at that time. And it was like 5,000 years ago. And now also it's a saying like kitne aaye kitne gaye. So many personality, different personalities have come on this earthly planets, and their names and fame has been just been in that again mud. It's been over with the over of time. They have nobody remembers this also. But this is, yes, is still now everyone takes cares. And the fourth one, if you see here, we'll talk about wealth. Yeah. So what happens, one time Narad Muni comes here and to visit Krishna. So we can see here there are different palaces are there. So sometimes people ask why Krishna married 16,100 gopis or something else. So there is a different pastime is there. Like they were going, means they were captured, this all 16,000 ladies were being captured by asuras, and he like wanted to give Bali, because he will be again some side will be there. So Krishna went with Satyabhama and killed everyone, that asuras, and this all these ladies was going for suicide and say nobody will be accepting us because we have left our home. In those olden days, if you're leaving your home and if you're unmarried, nobody used to accept. So Krishna married everyone, and then for everyone, for 16,108, he built up palaces. So if you see, all these beautiful palaces were all decorated with jewels. In dark also, if you see, it's just to mention in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is so bright that you'll be able to see your face also. It's been so much decorated. And every day Krishna used to give cow donation, 9 lakh cows every day when he used to go get up early in the morning. So we see Lakshmi Devi, she is the goddess of wealth. And what Lakshmi Devi is doing, she is always doing a pada sevanam. If you see Vishnu Bhavan, she is always doing, she is serving Krishna. So sometimes we say Sukh Sampati Ghar Ave Lakshmi Om Jai Jagadish Hare. Sometimes we do prayers and all those things. But we shouldn't be worshipping Lakshmi Devi alone. When we worship Krishna, already Lakshmi Devi will be already be there. So we cannot, it's a saying, and not only, so Krishna, when Narad Muni went, he went to this house, he saw Krishna was doing one activity, he went to another house, he was doing, Krishna was doing, Lord Krishna was doing one activity. So in every 16,000 Krishna, Lord Krishna was doing simultaneously one or the other activities. So Krishna personally expanded into 16,108 and he was taking care of everyone. So in this modern age, whenever I call my friends, okay, how are you, or sometimes is there, means all are married. So when we say you bless are you, you're not married. So sometimes we can see they say we can't even maintain one wife and one house. How beautiful, like difficult it was to maintain 16,100. So that's the wealth is there, Krishna used to possess. And coming to this fifth one is there about knowledge, which is this fifth one. So knowledge is there, gyan or the wisdom. We are seeing this Gita is known as the king of knowledge. So Krishna gave this knowledge to Brahmaji, Lord Brahma. And how the history of Bhagavad Gita we have already discussed. So 5,000 years ago also, Arjuna, as millions of ago also, he gave the same knowledge to sun god also. So it's a saying, that's the reason Bhagavad Gita now also is the most read scriptures till now also people are reading. So that's the knowledgeable which Krishna gives, and how you can come out from the problems of whatever questions is there. You open your Bhagavad Gita, all your answers will be cleared. The six opulences is the renunciation. What we can see in this picture is Arjuna is sitting there and Krishna is driving his chariot. So you're God. So suppose Krishna became a driver in the war. So God is becoming a driver. Can you imagine this? So suppose you're a very rich person. Is suppose if somebody is a very rich, so if your friend comes to meet you, if you're having 10 cars, you'll say, "Oh driver, take out my car," and you'll be sitting beside your friend. You will sit with him and talk in the back seat, and the driver will be like driving the. Will you drive for your friend? But here you are saying Krishna is himself driving the car. Means Krishna is having everything. सब कुछ होने के बावजूद भी Krishna is becoming a driver here. So that's what renunciation is there. So little opulences also sometimes when we get, what happens? We get too much of attached to, we become so much of false ego, ahankara will be there, and then we are not able to renunciate. So Krishna is saying Krishna's to Bhagwan, so Krishna is God. So next time if somebody asks, I am God or something, so can you ask him, can you show me your opulences? So we jivas are part and parcel of Krishna. So we might be having one or the other quality, but that also won't be in full. So we might be having strength when we are young or something. In the old age, we are not having this strength. You might be having wealth, but as the time goes, the wealth also goes away. So all these characteristics, which opulences which are there, we also possess, but in small fragrant time, and we also don't have everything. So you might be having wealth, but your health is not good. You are not strength, so something it might be there. So that's the Bhagwan, one who possesses all the opulences in full. So that's Bhagwan is there. Let's see what Krishna is saying further. Okay, we'll rush quickly now. 10-15 minutes, 10-15 minutes I'll complete. Okay, Pallavi Mataji, I'll request devotees, 3-4 more slokas are there. We'll try to complete it quickly. Yeah. And these are very important, and that's the reason I'm taking time to explain. I can rush it. Pallavi Mataji, please unmute yourself and read it.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Mahatmanstu mam partha daivam praktim asrita bhajanti ananya manaso janatava bhutadim avayam. O son of Pratha, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji, for reading Hare Krishna. So here, Krishna is talking about who are Mahatmas. who does the devotional service. So Krishna is saying, O son of Pada, who are not, so those person who are not deluded are saying, deluded means mohitona, is there not means like sees and then they become something. So those person Krishna is saying are those great souls. So Krishna is saying this kind of great souls are always and always under my protection of the divine nature. So Krishna is saying I always protect this kind of devotees who does a devotional service to me. So who can so Krishna further saying, so they are fully engaged in devotional service. So Krishna further in this purport also Srila Prabhupada said those person who are not able to understand, in the previous slokas we have understood, those people are known as murhas. So he says in Krishna here it is saying they are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me, that I am Supreme Personality of God, the original and inexhaustible. I never. So there are many stories are also there. Like Draupadi Maharaj is also there when Dushasan was trying. So maybe if somebody have attended last Sunday class, so how we can out from come out from this our material misery. So this topic was also being covered. Maybe anyone if is there. So we know all the story how Draupadi did a little seva to Krishna, and Krishna multifold in return. And then when he understood like no one is able to save, just he raised his hand and say Krishna Govinda, and then Lord Krishna just came here and then protected Draupadi Maharani. So devotion means always in protection. So Krishna here it is saying like I'll be protecting you always. Maybe I have just with time I have cut down the story and told you, but these are very very wonderful stories which we can learn from Mother Draupadi. She was in the helpless condition and how Krishna helped. So Srila Prabhupada also we can understand when he was at the age of 69 years, when he was going to Western countries, he was in the Jalduta. 2 heart attacks came. Gentlemen and Mataji and Prabhuji, you can understand if one heart attack came, the second heart attack is and then nobody is able to survive. So in that Jaladuta, he just prayed to Krishna that I am under your protection. If you want me to die, you make me die. If you want me to live, whatever you want me to do, you do. And suddenly when he prayed, the Atlantic Ocean just it was he became very very calm, and it was very calm until he arrived USA. And the captain of the ship said to Srila Prabhupada, I don't know who are you, but you seems to be a very saintly person. I have never seen Atlantic Ocean so calm entire in my life. And 50 years from now is a history. We can see because of Srila Prabhupada mercy, I am able to give the class. If Srila Prabhupada was not there, I and me and you won't be able to come here and attend this class. So that's is there. And then Srila Prabhupada taught us how they this great souls how they do devotional service is saying they are fully engaged in devotional service. And then the third picture, if you say they are saying here in the second picture is that they are always doing devotional service. In the third picture if it is saying it's saying they are always doing as they knowing, and they're doing very wonderfully. And we can lot of examples are also there, always they are thinking. And it's saying they're always engaged, and this important thing is their inexhaustible means atut. And if some devotees knows these things, so what should we do after knowing this? Krishna is telling in one of the most important verses, which I also like a lot. When I read for the first time, I like it was amazed. Okay, who wants to read it? Let's see who is the lucky devotee.
Can I tell? Can I, Prabhuji?
uh, we'll give chance to Sangeeta Mataji. Usha Mataji have already read.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes Mataji, please go ahead. Mataji, you can read it please.
Yes Prabhu. Ananyas-chintayanto mam kechana parayupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vihamyaham. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So he's saying how to engage in devotional service. So they are fully engaged in devotional service. You just don't say quite you are engaged in their service. They are under complete protection of Krishna. Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe. So this is the sloka. Is saying, who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on me. To them, Krishna is saying. Sometimes people ask, if you do bhakti, who will do the other activities? But when you start doing bhakti, if you see, you'll be able to manage everything in a proper way. You won't waste time. So he's saying, Krishna is saying, Tesam nityabhiyuktanam yoga sheham vahamam. So it's the same, whatever they are having, whatever they are lacking, I will provide. And whatever they are having, I will protect them. I will preserve them, whether it is anything and everything Krishna protects. That's I have also personally felt. And there is a wonderful example is there how Lord personally protects this Mahatmanas. So if you see, there is an example of here is there, which I was telling is about Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj is that Krishna is promising here Yoga Shem. So Yoga Shem Krishna is promising here. So Prahlad Maharaj, when Hiranyakashipu called him and said, what you have learned in the Gurukul. So this Prahlad Maharaj he started saying, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva, you should be worshipping Krishna himself. This is see the son of the greatest Asura was the greatest devotee of the Lord. He was always 24 into 7. He was worshipping the Lord and he was always protected. Whatever statements he gave, the Lord fulfilled. So we have seen, and then as he stated this statement, Hiranyakashipu said to him, no, he is not my son. He called his and said, just put him to the, he gave a sentence. Can you imagine a father giving his son a sentence of death? Then all his he told this I have learned is that Lord is the supreme. Whatever we pray and we say is that the Hari is everything. And this Hiranyakashipu got very angry. And then we see all these soldiers try to kill him with this trident. And as soon as they were trying to kill this with the trident, the trident used to become a garland. And like all this it was like this was phrase. And then they tried to kill him with this mad elephant. And the mad elephant, he said Om Hari Om Bhagavate and Vasudeva Nama Om Hari Hari, he started saying. And then nobody was mad elephant also didn't kill him. And then also he was thrown in a place where all snakes was there. And then, there's a wonderful pastimes is there mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. It's meant them. And then this Prahlad Maharaj, who is 5 years of age, he started praying to all the snakes. So you are the Ananta says, who is protecting Lord Krishna. You are the Lord Balrama. And then all the snakes who was there, who was sitting there and was listening to Prahlad Maharaj lecture there. So that's the association you get it there. And the snake also they didn't. In the last also, Prahlad Maharaj tried to I say her sister was there, Holika. She was given a one a shawl was there. And then she took Prahlad Maharaj on her lap and went to the fire. And we all know the story. That's why the Holika was burned, and we celebrate Holi also. And that's whatever situation it was there. So this is the Ananya Yas. They saying only Krishna. Like not every person is saying when you're having that faith, Krishna will be personally coming and protecting. And we know how Krishna, when Prahlad Maharaj is saying, he said, when Hiranyaka say, is he there in this pillar? Yes. Then Prahlad Maharaj said, yes, Lord is there in the pillar. Then Hiranyakashipu came and then killed. We all know this pastimes. So that's what he's saying. We should also understand this Yoga Shemaham means this LIC of India is also there, who have this slogan, Jindagi ke baad bhi, and Jindagi ke saath bhi, and Jindagi ke baad bhi. Take this slogan from here. And the most important thing we should understand when the Lord gave this complete protection to the Prahlad Maharaj. So that's the reason we say, Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna Rakhe. When the Lord decide to protect you, nobody can kill you. And when the Lord decide to kill you, nobody can hear. So the one important thing is that Yoga Shem, which Srila Prabhupada also mentioned in this purport also is very important. So this Yoga Sheham actually means I'll read it out. Yoga refers to a devotee approach towards Krishna. Shema refers to Krishna merciful protection. Krishna helps the devotee to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga, and when he becomes fully consciousness, he protects him from falling down to a miserable condition of life. That means how wonderfully Srila Prabhupada make us understand. See, we are every time, yesterday also we saw there are four miseries of real problems of life are there, which is Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. When we completely surrender to Krishna, Krishna protects us from this one. So that means Yoga Sheham. Krishna protect us again falling into this material world, and he take us back home, back to Godhead. So that's what Krishna is saying. Is that's the reason it's very very important shloka. We should do devotional service, and then we should be engaged in always in, and that's when Krishna will be protecting whatever it might be there, whether it is wealth or whether it is there, it's whatever we are suffering, it's because of our own karma. So this is one of the most important shloka in Bhagavad Gita also. And how we can reciprocate with Krishna, Krishna is saying in this shloka. Who wants to read it, who haven't read till now? Dipshika Mataji, Dhanpal Prabhu, Ganga Mataji, Gayatri Mataji, would you like to read please? Or
Yes,
any
Prabhu. Can I?
Yes Mataji, please go ahead.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhakta prayachati tad aham bhakte upartam asmami praya
Shayati,
prayatatma.
Prachiti tad aham bhakti upaharatam asnami. There's a echo, I guess. Yes, Mataji, you can continue.
If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So we show our devotion by offering something. So Krishna here it is saying here. So one offers me with me love. So Krishna, what he is asking here is there one offers me with love and devotion. So two important thing is there. What Krishna is looking for, love and devotion. So if you are saying he's not asking you to give anything, or so he's saying patram. If you are saying even if you give me this patram, a leaf, who is what is the which leaf is which is most dear to Krishna is Tulsi Maharani.
Tulsi.
When we offer Tulsi Maharani to Krishna, Krishna is very pleased. So Krishna is saying, okay, if you can't give me leaf also, you can offer me a flower. If you can't give me flower also, you can offer me a fruit, phalam. Okay, if you even if you don't have anything, you can offer me at least toyam of water also, which is easily available. And Krishna is saying, I will accept you. But what he's saying with love and devotion, Krishna is saying. So there is a wonderful pastime is there. Maybe again I'll come back to this slide, this sloka, and there is a saying. There is a in olden days there used to have a barter system. So whoever is to take having something like this, suppose you are doing means farming of some crops or wheat, or somebody is doing rice, so they never used to go and buy, so they used to exchange among this. So this used to be known as a barter system. So in this olden days what happened, this lady, there is a famous story also. So she did, and she was distributing uh, her things or fruits was there. And then Krishna saw his mother and father, how they were taking something. So Krishna with the tiny hands, he went inside his room and he took rice, and then he was like coming outside, and with his tiny palms, like all it was coming out with his whole, we have a gaps in our 5 fingers, it was coming out. And he lovingly, and this lady was, she was mesmerized with that beauty of Krishna, and he was she was saying, and means whatever it was there with her tiny hands, he just put it in this tokri, or what the basket was there, he put it there. And this lady, whatever fruits was there, she gave her completely. And she didn't, she was looking totally to Krishna. And while she was like, when Krishna went inside this room, and while she was taking this basket, and as she was lifted, she saw this whole thing was filled with jewels. Everything was filled with jewels and all. So she was mesmerized. So Krishna is saying, there's a saying, how much you give, but how much you keep. So it's a saying, like whatever you give to Krishna, actually it will multifold and come back to you. That's we should understand. And it's very important how much you give and how much you keep. So there is an example among poor people and rich people. So this poor people was earning 500 rupees, but when he go to a temple, he gives 100 rupees. And this rich people who was earning 5 lakh of rupees, when he go to a temple, 500 rupees he keeps and prays to Krishna, give it to me. So we can see how much we are keeping and how much we are giving. So there is a question which comes, does Lord require anything? No. Actually, Lord doesn't require anything. Does he is hungry for our food? No. Srimati Radharani, you will be amazed to know Srimati Radharani, he was blessed with uh, Durvasa Muni, and when Srimati Radharani, whenever she prepares, it's mentioned there, she prepares every time new recipe for Krishna. Whatever she prepares in the morning, for 1 year she won't be repeating. So what we prepare now, after 2 3 days we repeat the same recipe. So Krishna doesn't need anything actually. So Lord says still he accept if somebody is offering with love and devotion. So how we offer food actually is there, we offer to this pancha tattva mantra first: Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaurabhatta, and then we request Lord please accept it. So Krishna is the source of all appearances. Whatever we are giving actually, it's been given by him only. It's just like, if I take you an example, in this universe or in this material world where we are living, the light is coming from the sun, and we take a lamp and then offer it to sun god. Okay, I'm giving it to you. What is a tiny fragment of this light compared to the light of the sun? So we should be saying, so bhakti is repeating twice here in this sloka. If you say bhaktiyati and bhakti, so he's saying, so that's whatever is the provider is there. So Krishna is the source of everything. Whatever we do, whatever when we offer, it comes back to us is a multifold time also. So that's what Krishna is saying. If you have more, you can give it more also. So it can be anything, or regularly, if you offer water also, which we start for the water also, toyam also, it is very good. And that's how we'll be in that platform question. This is one of the most important shloka of Bhagavad Gita, which is repeating twice. This the same shloka is been repeating twice in chapter 18 also. So this is one of the very, very important shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Who wants to read it? Let's see. Who haven't read till now? One more is there, because I want. Okay, let me see. Yes, Gayatri Mataji, I want you to. You want to read, Mataji? Gayatri Mataji?
Yeah, I can try.
Yes, Mataji.
Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam ivai yasi yuktai yukta vyaivam atmanam mat parayanaha. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee, offer obeisance to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So here the Lord is saying, Man mana bhava mad bhakto. So he's saying, he's giving, it's a very, very important instruction which Krishna is talking here about. So he's saying, Krishna is saying, engage your mind always thinking of me. Man mana bhava mad bhakto. So how we can engage our mind in countries? By chanting the holy name of the Lord. When we chant, we do start with the Shravanam Kirtanam. When we start, we'll be always our mind, which goes away from so many activities, we can bring our mind back to here. And that's the reason we'll be always engaging our mind in always thinking of him, because when we chant, Krishna personally comes and chant here with us. Second, he said madhyaji nam namaskuru. So he's saying, Krishna is saying, become my devotee. So we see a lot of devotees are here. He is becoming, they have taken to this Krishna consciousness, and whatever their prescribed duties are there, they're still continuing. They're not leaving. Krishna is not to leave everything and come to me. Krishna is saying, whatever is do your karma yoga and just put me into center and then do everything. And the third is Krishna is saying, Manavashi Yuktanam. He's saying Namaskuru. He's a Mam Namaskuru. So offer obeisances to me. Krishna is the third instruction is giving obeisances to me. So we see how a wonderful grahastha is there. Even if you are at home also, you can set up a small altar at your home, and then this is Prabhu, if you say, this is known as a Dandavat Pranam. We offer a Dandavat Pranam. It's like how a danda just fall to the ground, and this Mataji is doing a Spanchang Pranam. So these are two offers is there. We are just offer, because this we have this false ego, this ahankara. We think this head won't be submitting to anyone. When we like bring our head to the God, we surrender, and that's how our false ego slowly comes down. And the fourth thing that Krishna is saying, and always worship me. So Krishna is saying this is the fourth way. So we see how Srila Prabhupada taught us, and all the senior devotees taught us how we can worship the deities at our home only. So these are the four activities. They say, engage your mind, always thinking of me, become my devotees, obeisances to me, and the fourth is worshiping me. So then Krishna is saying, if you do these 4 activities being completely absorbed with me, if you do these 4 activities, you'll be always be absorbed with me. And then last, Krishna is saying, Krishna is promising here, surely you will come to me, Krishna is saying. So Krishna is giving you this 4 formula how we should be engaging in devotional service. So this 4 thing is an open secret which Krishna is telling to everyone. If you follow this, so he's saying devotional service is sukham. It's very original and it's very joyful. When we chant and when we do, we'll be able to go. We'll see. And then how to think of Krishna, we'll see in tomorrow. Tomorrow is also a very most important topic we'll be saying. We'll see the next one. Okay, this is no shlokas are there. I'll request one devotees who haven't read till now. Let me see
Could
who's
I read it, Prabhuji?
uh,
Prabhuji, can
who haven't read till now. Mahita Mataji, yes Mataji, you can go. Or we'll give chance to Himanshu Prabhu. He haven't read till now any shloka. Yes Prabhu, you can go it Prabhu. Mahita Mataji, you can read it tomorrow again.
Okay,
By
Prabhuji.
chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one immediately concentrates on the sound vibration and thinks of the lotus feet of the Lord, and very quickly one is elevated to the position of samadhi or trance. If one goes on chanting the holy names of the Lord, which are not different from the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, naturally his mind becomes absorbed in the thought of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavad.
Yes, Mahita Mataji, since you wanted to recite the whatever desires are there, Lord fulfills it. Mahita Mataji, you can read this one.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The devotees can constantly think of the object of worship, the Supreme Lord, in any of his features, Narayana, Krishna, Rama, etc., by chanting Hare Krishna. This practice will purify him, and at the end of his life, due to his constant chanting, he will be transferred to the kingdom of God.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So we have read in yesterday also in Bhagavad Gita 8.8. This is mentioned in Srila Prabhupada mentioned is a purport. Thank you, Mataji and Prabhuji. Read this. Here, I'll mute it. Yeah, here we can understand. So in our school also we have understand we like we learn and we go for a theory classes. Actually, we have seen over the days those whoever are hearing is don't only doing the theory classes. Those who are staying at the end of the classes is doing actually the practical, because after the classes we chant the holy name of the Lord. So that is practical. Unless you don't do the practical, it's only theory. Yes, it is nice. Again, if you go back home again tomorrow, if you come that you will forget it actually. So here's Krishna is saying bhakti is actually like a river Ganga. If you go to river Ganga doesn't discriminates who is suitable or who is unsuitable. So it's just destroy all your sins by that only by touching when you there. So pure bhakti is alone also considered as the king of all secrets. So that's why is there. So saying when we chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one is we are concentrating on the sound vibration and thinks of the lotus feet of the Lord. How we should be remembering is that when we chant and we think on the lotus feet, we should be there, then our mind won't be deviated, and very quickly one is able elevated to this samadhi. When you're doing it, is it very easy? Simply with your home only, sitting at your home only, we can do no need to go anywhere. So if one goes on chanting the holy name of the Lord, which are not different from the Supreme. So we should understand the name of the Lord, and the Lord, the name, past tense, everything is the Lord Himself only. Naturally, what will happen? Your mind will be always be thought in the will be absorbed in the thought of Lord Krishna. That's mentioned in Srimad Gita. And this is the devotees are always 24/7 is thinking the name and pastimes of the Krishna. So that's what the benefit of chanting is there. Maybe after this class, I'll quickly jump to this recap, whatever we have learned today. So we have seen how this quality was to receive this knowledge, and we can get relief from this material existence. And we saw this confidential knowledge is the king of education. It's a direct perception, and it is always joyful and everlasting. And we also seen this fools, and we saw 9. I forgot to put the slides 9.3, and how we see how this material Krishna create this material world also. And then he's saying, after knowing this one, the fools derives in me human form, transcendental nature. When Krishna appears here, they think, oh, this is not a normal, but Krishna is having a Divya Sharir. So 9.3 we see whatever Krishna personally protects, whatever is there, he preserves, and whatever we don't have, he gives us. And how we can is that we can offer to Lord whatever we have with love and devotion. And in the last sloka, which is the most important sloka, is there Krishna tells what to think. Is saying the four important thing is there: engage our mind by thinking of him, become his devotee, and pay obeisances to him. And the fourth one is saying by worshipping him will be always in absorption. And then in the end he says you will be coming to me. And the easiest way of for worshipping Krishna or worshipping absorption is by chanting of the holy name. So this is the practical classes which will be conducting after this now. So this is was I have put again this slide again. So this is a Bhagwan which having which one who possesses all the opulences in full, this six opulences. So this Sunday, 11th of December, everyone is invited. Please, you can invite your family and friends also. We have a live coaching with Bhagavad Gitas, and the topic of the Sunday is how to dream big, and what we can learn is from Bhagavad Gita also. So this is the certificate. Anyone who completes this course, regular in the classes and regular in the quiz, there are only 5 questions at the end of the session. You can complete and you can get this certificate for the completion. And maybe this is our address, ISKCON Seshadripuram. If you are there in Bangalore, you can come down every Sunday, every day, anytime you can come down. There will be prasadam will be also with the free of cost. Maybe question and answer I'll take after this class. We'll chant one time of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I'll request if possible, if devotee can wait, they can chant with us, and then only we'll be able to release this, how powerful this mantra is there. Maybe quickly I'll share my screen again. Where is okay, yeah, this is my screen. Let me know once you are able to see my screen. So I'll request devotees, if it is possible, they can turn their cameras on also. Okay. Okay, we'll start with Panchatattva mantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vashati Gaura Bhakta Vinda. We can start. We'll chant one time.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhakta Vinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta
Hare Krishna. So we have seen chanting of the holy name. If you do daily 108 times or 1 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it will only take between 5 minute to 10 minutes depending on your speed. But we should be very careful whenever we are chanting the holy name of the Lord. Whatever we are telling, we should be hearing from our ears. So that's what it will be, Shravanam and Kirtanam. So now the stage is open for question and answer. If any devotees have any of question or any realization, they can share now. And how was the chanting? How are you feeling right now? Energized, peaceful? Maybe devotees can share.
Peaceful, Prabhuji.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So that's the process only. Our mind will be able to present. So Krishna is saying you can bring your back, you bring back your mind which is unpeaceful by chanting the name of the holy name of the Lord. Again, the mind will be becoming peaceful. Yeah. So maybe I'll stop the recording. And if any questions are there, you